Welcome to the Let's Talk Basic podcast, where girls talk about everything basic.
Join us as we sit down with a glass of wine and see where the conversation goes.
Kick back,
relax,
and get ready for the ultimate girls' night in.
I'm your host, Joanne.
And I'm Vanessa. Cheers!
Cheers!
Welcome back to this week's Let's Talk Basic podcast. Okay, so I have kind of a funny story. Let me take a sip of wine first.
Okay.
So I've been going to spin classes for quite a while now, and you've joined me in a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm that kind of person that actually don't enjoy working out at all.
Yeah.
Right? So
neither do I.
Yeah,
so.
I actually hate it, but I know that it's something that I need to do, and I should do it.
Yeah.
Right? So I try to pick classes that are around 40 minutes long, because it's just enough to get your heart rate up and sweat and all of that, and then I can peace out.
Yeah.
So I don't usually do workouts that are an hour long, because that's just too long for me. And I have some limitations because I do have arthritis on my knees. So running and stuff like that just does not work. And I found a couple of years ago that spinning is kind of the best option for me because it's less weight bearing. You're on the bike and sometimes you can sit down. So it kind of cuts off half of your weight. So it's a great workout for me. And I am extremely lazy. So I found the closest spin class studio near my house. I'm near kind of King and Bathurst area, and one of the studios that's there has been there for a really long time actually. It's called Quad, and it's kind of a hit or miss studio, I'm not gonna lie. It's in the basement, and it's, if you've been to the Club Everleigh, it's actually right underneath Everleigh. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
never made that connection.
Yeah, so it's so there's 3 levels, right?
Yeah.
So under the basement is Quad, the first level, the main level is Everleigh, and then the top part is another fitness studio.
Okay.
Okay. And I've been going there, I want to say that for 2 years now.
Yeah.
And
You've been going for a while.
Yeah, and pretty consistently.
Mm-hmm.
On a good week, I would be there 4 times a week, and on a bad week, probably once. And in December, back during the holidays, I was just so bad. I did not even go once. So there was an entire month.
The holidays, whatever.
Yeah, it was an entire month of not exercising at all, and then I'm binge eating and drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So when January hit, I was like, oh, this is gonna be killer. I'm gonna get destroyed at Quad. And then the first time I went back, I was like, okay, I'm ready, I'm good to go. I go, and this chick starts playing classical music. Okay, and I don't know if you've been to a spin class or if you've watched the beginning scene of I Am Pretty, where Amy Schumer goes to Soul Cycle, and it's hey, everyone, it's
very
really
hyped up. It's very intense.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And this chick just starts playing classical music. And I know, Joanne, you really enjoy that stuff.
No.
You like the chill music.
No, not necessarily. There was one time when we went, and I liked it because I was like, okay.
It's less it's not less pumpy than all the other studios.
Yeah.
Which is what Quad is, but classical music is really pushing it.
Yeah.
For me. Even from
I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, so we were playing classical music. I'm like, that's it, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to another studio.
Yeah.
So it just so happened that was my last class. I buy a package, and that was my last one. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try something new. So I go down the street. So this is, instead of a 2-minute walk, it is now an 8-minute walk, which is big for me.
Large commitment.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make this. It's going to be bad. So I go to this new studio. It's called Spinco.
Mm-hmm.
The first class, it was good. It was really good. It was a definitely different type of class. The intensity is different. They use some free weights for your arms and all of that stuff. And then there's a bit of choreography that goes into it because it goes by beats and everything. I walked out of that class and I am sweating, and I'm feeling a little bit kind of dizzy.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, this is it. Like, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to feel like after a spin class. I'm like, I've been wasting my money for 2 years. It's kind of a daunting feeling because it's like you're finally feeling how you're supposed to after a spin class, but also you realize that you've wasted a lot of money for 2 years.
Well, you messaged me like, I guess after you went to your spin class, and you're like, I'm dying. Like, is this what a spin class is supposed to feel like?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, because like I started doing spin classes at like a real like ride.
Yeah.
Right? Like where it's like very pumped up, like it's one of those like culty kind of spin classes. And that's like kind of what I knew them as. And then I went to quad with you and I'm like, oh, this is nice.
This is so chill.
Naturally. Like you kind of leave, you're like, I feel like I worked out, but like you're not really sweating, like nothing's really hurting and you're not in pain the next day. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed quad because I was like,
that was a good break for you.
Yeah, it was great. I'm like, I feel like I can do it. And like, whereas usually when I go to spin classes, it's like, I feel like I'm the worst one. I'm like, I'm losing the beat. I'm like, how are people all like going at the same time?
Yeah,
and like
the way that they move like side to side and up and down.
Yeah.
Like, this is so crazy.
Yeah. Whereas like with quad, like you don't have to stand if you don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't have to get up.
The woman's like, take a break.
Yeah, and you're like,
down.
Okay.
Grab a drink of water. Towel off. And you're like, the entire class is like that.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, I haven't even broken a sweat yet.
And
wow,
like,
I'm doing
45
really well.
minutes is up.
Yeah.
Great class, everyone. See you next week. And you're like, oh, God.
It's just so funny. I'm like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
You didn't realize that.
And I didn't realize that. So I was going to quad because I thought that their fees were going to be lower. Mm-hmm. And then now that I compared them, it's actually like more expensive than the new studio. Yeah, that's why I'm switching too.
Oh, okay.
Right, so it's a lot cheaper. Well,
yeah.
By a lot, I mean like, like $20-$30 a month, which is I think significant. And these classes are just so much better. So I'm really excited about, coming here. And I know that in January, everyone's like super excited about going to work out. I have noticed that like, it's dwindling down a little bit. So if you guys need that little extra push to get back to it, maybe join me in a spin class one time.
Yeah. Which class do you go to?
6:30.
Okay.
6:30 Spin Co at the Spadina and Adelaide one. So
nice.
You guys want to join? Yeah. Come on along. I'm not very good, so usually sit in like the back corner.
It's okay. You're probably doing like way better than me because at least you're going and
I try.
Exactly. At least you try.
Yeah, I try. Would you ever go to a spin class with your husband?
We actually did for a while.
Oh, okay.
We were going to one near like where we live on the Danforth. Mm-hmm. And we went for like a few months like consecutively. And then they kind of stopped offering evening classes for the summer. So we couldn't go to them anymore. And there's not like a lot in our area, like not a lot of like fitness clubs with spin. So we just kind of stopped going and we were going to wait for the fall to kick up again. But then they opened a new location. So all their evening classes went to the new location.
I see. Okay.
So we never picked it up again, which was kind of sucks because like, firstly, like my husband and I don't really work out much. Like you have to really find something interesting for us to make us want to go. And it has to be close enough to make us go too.
I find that like distance is the most it's crucial.
The convenient, like you don't want to spend 2 hours like half an hour getting there, then getting ready, and like you spend like an extra hour doing nothing really, and that's the same time you get for the workout. Whereas like I don't know, if you go somewhere close by, you get like 5 minutes to get there, you really spend like 10. Like the cost benefit is know it has to make sense. So yeah, like it's hard enough for us to find something that we both enjoy doing for us to go together. And like really spin has been the only thing that like we both kind of agreed on. And
Hmm.
yeah, and I don't love spin, but I wanted to go because he wanted to go and I wanted to support him, and I'm like, I probably, if you're gonna go, then I want to be doing something too.
Yeah.
So that was the only one that we could agree on.
Okay.
Yeah. So we would, but it's just been hard to find somewhere to go.
Oh, well, we'll see. We'll see if anything new pops up at the Danforth. But last week we talked about what Valentine's gift ideas and date ideas, and I can't believe Valentine's Day is actually coming up this weekend. And I guess it's time for us to kind of reveal to you guys if we love it or hate it. We might have left some clues in our episode last week, but Joanne, do you love it or hate it?
Honestly, I feel like Valentine's Day is, I'm very indifferent about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like there's people who are so against it or like, oh,
Yeah.
I hate it so much, and like it really grinds their gears. But for me, I'm kind of like, I don't feel like it's awful. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I also don't love it. Like, I'm not looking forward to it. I think it's really great because it's a guaranteed date night for my husband and I.
Yeah.
Whether we go somewhere fancy or we go somewhere very chill or we just stay in,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like that, knowing there's an extra date night, which we try to do like at least like once a month anyways. So yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I think for me, there are certain parts that I do hate about it.
Yeah.
So I hate the fact that, you know, I think it always comes from a place when maybe I'm just a little bit bitter when I was single. Like, you know, opening up that Instagram feed and like getting flooded, literally flooded with like Valentine's Day photos and what, you know, they did for each other and things like that. So I think from a single person's perspective, and speaking from that, I just hated it. I hated that part of it.
Yeah.
Right? But
I don't think I hated it, but I would definitely like roll my eyes.
Yeah,
at
yeah.
it, you know?
Yeah.
And like,
I'm like, this is ridiculous.
yeah. Like the people who took it really seriously, I'm like, okay, chill.
Yeah. I'm like, you don't have to shove it in my face. Thank you very much. Like, I'm very aware that I'm single.
Yeah.
Like,
but I never felt like that they were shoving it in my face or whatever. But I'm just like,
I did try to avoid social media though when I was single, because I just don't love it.
yeah.
So I think that part is like, if you're talking about generally about Valentine's Day, I think that part I dislike the most.
Mm-hmm.
But of course there's parts of it that I do like as well, right? I do like the fact that it is going to be date night, but it's also a chance and an opportunity for, you know, people who are really busy and have a packed schedule to, you know, actually carve out some time in their day, whether it's just dinner or brunch or a date.
Brunch, okay, not brunch. Well, like, okay, sorry, like if it's a nice brunch, but not oh, let's grab like a toast or something.
No, like
yeah.
like, you know, what, like like whatever it is that you guys, you know, carve out of your day to spend with each other. I think that's really important, and that's what I really love.
Yeah.
But I agree with you in terms of like people who take it really seriously. That's when I'm like my eyes are just at the back. I'm just like, this is too much for me. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny, like when you think about how Valentine's Day has changed over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh, yes.
I remember starting like Valentine's Day as a child, right? Or as
in
a
elementary
kid.
school. Remember that? Oh, so cute.
Yeah, like, you know, every time it's Valentine's Day, it's coming up, like the teacher brings out the card or like the brown paper bags.
I love it.
And you're like, oh, yes, it's time to decorate. You spend like an hour of that day or whatever.
Fun.
Just like cutting out construction paper hearts and, you know, making your little paper bag that's going to be filled up with like cards from your friends. It was so much fun.
It was so
like,
great.
Yeah.
I remember, so like paper bags would go, for us, it went at the back of our chairs. So
okay.
Everyone had a little paper bag the day before Valentine's Day. And sometimes like we would make those paper hearts, but a lot of times one of my elementary school teachers was very big on being inclusive. So it was not allowed at my school to not give, if you're going to give one card, you have to give everyone a card. So it was all about inclusivity. And what she did was a week before Valentine's Day, she would actually put an entire, like a full list, the class list, attendance list, into each person's agenda. So that if you were to go buy your cards at, Shoppers or Walmart or whatnot, that you have to buy, like you have to write one for every single one of your classmates. So that was really nice, because like now that you look back at it, it's
like everybody gets one.
It's so nice.
And like you're guaranteed to not have an empty bag.
Yeah.
And like opening it is always like the best part.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
I loved it.
Yeah. And like one of the funnest parts of Valentine's Day is going to like Shoppers or whatever with your mom, like trying to pick out what box you're gonna get or what style of
different
cards you'll get this
every
year.
single year.
Yeah.
Which ones did you pick?
I loved like the Winnie the Pooh ones.
Those were cute.
There was like a time when I liked Thomas the Train, so I got some Thomas the Train ones. Yeah, I can't, like, I don't know, like there's so many ones every year, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of like try and mix it up, and like whatever's the cutest, or you like read the little insert, like the cards at the back.
So cute.
Yeah, to be like, what kind of messages do you want to be sending this year? Yeah.
I did like Mickey Mouse, and like I vividly remember there's this one box, it's a Disney box with like Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, and everything. And at that time, my favorite was Donald Duck. So I don't know if you did this, but it was so dorky. I would look at every single one of those cards, and for the characters that I liked the most, like Donald or like Mickey, I would specifically write them to people that are either my close friends or like my crush.
Yeah.
Right? And then the ones that I like didn't really care for, like Goofy or whatnot, then I'd give them to like people that I don't like very much.
Yeah.
So I was like kind of like throwing shade without them even knowing. So that was really cute. And then
I love it. It's like shade when you're like
in grade 1.
Yeah. 7 years old.
Yeah. And then
it started young.
Yeah, it started, and then I would put stickers on it.
I love picking the stickers.
The stickers were the best.
Yeah.
And like it's so funny because when you take a look at those cards, I kind of want to buy a box to see what it looks like now. But really all the messages, it's the generic message that everyone gets, and it's like to and from, and that's all you like. But it was so exciting during that time.
Yeah.
Right?
And then like sometimes you would add like a little heart beside your name, like, and that meant so much.
I know. It was like those special ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, like, getting older, you go into high school, and then you have candygrams.
That's when the savageness began. You were throwing shade in grade 1, and then, like, in grade 8, it's just straight up, like...
Yeah. You don't have to buy a candygram anymore for everybody in your class. Like, you don't get that agenda list anymore.
Nope. It's that $2 you got to pay. Like, every class would have a period where they could go down to the lunchroom to buy their candygrams. They're around like $2 each with these disgusting red popsicles that I hate, actually.
Yeah, or like the red and blue ones. The ones that like half red, half blue.
Ugh.
Those ones are so gross.
Bad.
I don't know why that became like a popular Valentine's Day candy.
So gross. Oh, I hate.
Yeah.
Wait, like they're
like powdery. Like,
they're so
powdery
gross.
lollipops.
They're so bad.
Yeah.
They have yellow in them sometimes, I think.
Oh, do they?
It's like pink and blue and yellow.
Them.
They're
like,
so gross.
Yeah. Why is Valentine's candy so bad?
Yeah.
Like those lollipops, the red lollipops, like they're never
Remember those
good, and good tasting.
They're terrible. And then those little hearts with like hug me and like kiss me.
Yeah, like the Be Mine hearts.
Yeah.
They don't taste good.
They're terrible. They're the same flavor as those like the lollipop powder ones.
Yeah. And then, like, maybe an unpopular opinion, but cinnamon hearts
disgusting.
Do not taste good.
They're disgusting.
Yeah. They're so spicy. Like, can you tone that down and make them more delicious?
That's so true. Why do Valentine's Day treats taste so bad?
Yeah. There needs to be, like, some kind of good I don't know, Swedish berry
Oh my
heart
gosh.
shape or something.
Yeah, I never thought about that. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But okay, so high school.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so
High
you
school-
never wanted the candygrams anyways because it's not a great candy.
But
Yeah.
it's like popularity contest.
I know. You would have like Sasha in like
Sasha.
and Sasha getting like 5 different candygrams, and you'd be sitting there like, okay, and anyone this year?
Oh, that's so sad.
Did you get candygrams?
I did get candy
Oh, fuck
grams.
off. I'm kidding.
I was a popular kid, I think. It's so weird to say.
I also had like 20 people in my class. So
Oh, yeah. Okay, but we had a bigger high school. But it honestly, looking back at how they presented this entire thing, it's really awful. And if they're still doing that in school, they need to stop that because it's like lowering everyone's self-esteem. Okay?
Right.
So what they would do for my school is, so obviously you buy your candygram, and then on the day, on Valentine's Day, the like class rep or like the student, like the what are they called?
Student president?
Yeah, student president would come around in every classroom with this helper, Cupid, carrying all these like candygrams, and they would read everyone's names. So like it would be, in a class, and then like, hello, Mrs. Robinson. Sorry, I'm going to have to, bother you for 5 minutes. And then like Mrs. Robinson sits down, and then it becomes this class president. And then it's like a list of like, Colin. And then like Colin goes up, and like, it's so weird. People like clap.
Oh,
Ew, it's so gross. It's kind of like, when I think about it now, it's kind of like, The Bachelor.
Yeah.
When they call up the girl to get the rose.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Oh, it's so
It's
uncomfortable.
Awful. Right? So like people would go up, and then there's this girl named Nicole who's like very tall, beautiful, like brunette, and she would like just keep coming up. Right? So the first couple of times she would go up and be like, hey, like I'm getting a candygram. And by like the 13th candygram, she's like, I'm tired. Right? So like, I don't know, like I feel like if schools are still doing it in that way, like I really think that they need to stop, because it's really bad for some girls, like self-esteem.
Like the ones who don't get anything. They're so awful.
I know, it's so bad.
Yeah.
But that's when it kind of like, that's when Valentine's Day started to not be fun anymore.
Yeah.
Right? You got like the little card.
That's when you feel super single.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But like, I think that's the problem with Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I feel like when I say like, I hate the word like saying hate, but like, I just don't like that feeling where you're making people feel excluded and things like that. So like that stuff just irks me. So that's the part of Valentine's that I really don't like. And it started from, I guess, a really young age.
Yeah. I always just think of that Mean Girls clip, or like that scene when it's like, none for you, Gretchen Wieners.
I know. It's basically like that.
Yeah. So we've established that we hate Valentine's Day.
Is it that
Is there
obvious?
anything that you like about it?
I do. I like people putting effort in, like your significant other, whether you're in a relationship or you don't know if you're in a relationship or not. Like those are like exciting times for Valentine's Day, right? So what when you're dating a person for, a couple of months and you're like, oh, I'm not sure. But if they ask you to hang out on Valentine's Day, you're like, yep, it's official. Like, it's like those little signs. Like, I think there's like there's some like definitely like very sweet gestures around Valentine's Day. And I think those are really fun. But I also think that girls' night out during Valentine's Day or girls' night in, like, I think that's also become a thing, and I think that's also very empowering. So there are definitely things that I like about Valentine's Day, but I think for the majority of the parts that I know, like it's still not something that I love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, like one of my favorite things, like favorite inventions that has happened with Valentine's Day, and I think I've mentioned this before, but like heart-shaped pizzas. Mm-hmm. Incredibly smart.
Yeah.
And like that's one of the best. Like, I would love heart-shaped pizzas all year round, but the fact that they only come out for one day a year, it's like, okay, we're ordering pizza then.
Yeah. Do they all do it like pizza and...
I don't know. Like, I don't even know who came out with it first, but I know like Boston Pizza does it, and I think Domino's does it. I
feel like you could probably request it, and
that's
they would
probably
do
true,
it, right?
Yeah,
like on even a normal day.
Yeah.
Next time we order pizza, I'm gonna ask.
Yeah.
Like on the notes.
Yeah.
Heart shaped. See if they do it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right?
That would make every pizza so much better.
Yeah.
I think another thing, like with Valentine's Day, like we kind of talked about how like awful it is. Like partially it's so commercialized, like people get so serious about it, like posting their declarations of love or whatever. So with Tyler and I, we try just to keep it really low key and like not really play into that. So yeah, like in our holiday gift guides episode, we kind of talk about how cheesy it is and like how we don't, you know, get each other like very serious gifts or anything like that. But one of my favorite like Valentine's Day, I guess like memories is like one year when we like really failed at trying.
Oh. What year was that?
It was like one year where we decided to do a Star Wars marathon.
That's cute.
With friends.
I like that.
On Valentine's Day. Yeah, it was a great idea. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But like we all have like Valentine's, like we are very aware that it's Valentine's Day and that everybody's going to split up after to go to their like whatever outings.
Dates and
yeah,
dinner.
So we spent the entire day kind of just like on the couch eating like crap food and like watching Star Wars for 9 hours. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, oh crap, it's Valentine's Day now. And we decided to host this.
Oh.
So we're like, okay, well, we have like, I don't know, food everywhere. Like, we're not going to go out. We feel like shit.
Yeah.
So immediately after our friends leave, Tyler like runs into the bedroom and he's like, don't come in. And I'm like, okay. Like, this is a one bedroom condo. I don't know.
Oh, this is when you guys were still in your condo.
Yeah,
okay.
This is when we were in the condo. So we had like friends over and then they left. And he goes into the bedroom and closes the door. So I'm stuck in the living room and kitchen. I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
This is awkward.
Yeah. And then he just goes in and I hear him like in the ensuite in the washroom just like breathing really heavily. And I'm like, okay.
What did he sound like?
He was like...
Is he like doing sit-ups or something?
I don't know what to do, but it's fine because I also didn't plan anything for him that day.
So did you know that he was like, was he doing something for Valentine's Day when he was in the room, or like, did you know he was going to do something?
No.
Did you get a clue? Okay.
No, I feel like it was one of those years, like we were really early on in our relationship.
Okay.
So I think we said like, we'll order in pizza, we'll watch a movie. Like we'll keep it really low key, but I was like, oh crap, like I didn't get him anything. But then he like goes into the washroom, like he goes into the bedroom, locks me out of it. So obviously like something is happening. I'm like, oh crap. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, I didn't get him anything. So I'm like, okay, what can I do? Like I'm trying to rack my head, like nothing's going to come in immediately today. It's like 5 p.m. on Valentine's Day.
You're like, order Uber Eats.
Yeah. We already decided we were going to order food. So like, what else can I do? So I'm like, oh, like I have a really good idea. I'm going to pay for his like Xbox subscription for that year.
Gosh, so nerdy.
So I'm like, okay. So I go like turn on his Xbox since I'm in the living room already. And like, I try to like, I assume that he's logged in already and I can just pay for it. But then I realize I have to put in like a password. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, again, this is really early on in the relationship. So I'm like, oh crap. So I'm trying all these passwords. Oh my gosh. And I just hear his phone like dinging in the washroom, like probably sending a suspicious activity email. I'm like, oh
You've been logged out.
Yeah. You are locked out for 3 hours or whatever. Anyways, so I finally get into it and I pay for it and I'm like freaking out because I'm like, I don't know when he's coming out of this locked up washroom situation. Finally, like, I pay for it. I'm like chilling on the couch pretending to be cool. He opens the door. He's like, okay, you can come in now. And he like filled the bedroom with balloons. So that's what he was busy doing.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
He thought about that himself?
Yeah, he did it all by himself.
That's so nice.
I mean, it wasn't like
no, but still.
most perfectly executed.
Yeah.
Because he locked me out of a room.
And that was at the beginning of the relationship. What does he do now?
Yeah. That was probably the most effort he's ever put in. Yeah.
That's all you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, like, I feel like there are some really good Valentine's moments that still happen. Like, how about you with your partner?
So he is less creative.
Yeah.
I think for him, what I do appreciate about him is that he really likes to plan ahead. So he told me that, like, we already have a Valentine's Day reservation in January.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's the kind of guy that what I appreciate about him is that he always looks up like kind of new restaurants to try and things like that. Mm-hmm. It's not like we don't go to, you know, fancy restaurants or anything like that, but most of the time when we do go out, it's like pubs or like barbecue places. So it's nothing like, we wouldn't go to like a, I don't know, like a piano on a regular Friday. Yeah. Right. So those are, for us, like, those are special occasions. Yeah. Right. So he does a really, really good job of kind of looking up different restaurants, and he is really great at making reservations. And
that's so nice. I feel like that's half the battle is making the reservation.
So he does that in January. And on top of that, he usually makes 3 different kinds of reservations. Oh? Yeah. So he'll make like an Italian place, a steak place, and then this place. And then like closer to Valentine's Day, he'd be like, okay, so these are the 3 places that I booked. Like, which one do you want to go to? Right? So I, like, in a weird way, I think that's pretty thoughtful. Mm-hmm. Number one, to get a reservation at a restaurant that is, you know, like a nice restaurant in Toronto at a decent time during Valentine's Day. Like, you have to plan ahead. Mm-hmm. So I think that's really nice. And then I also love the fact that he gives me choices. Like, he's not just like picking something, but like he's picked 3, and then if I select one, then he'll release those reservations for other people. So, yeah, so like for us, I think Valentine's Day, not that it's needed to, you know, go to a fancy restaurant, but I think for us, that's something that we've been doing for a while. So that's really nice. Last year, he took me to a restaurant called Evo. So it's up at Avenue, so like in the Yorkville area. And it was really nice. It was like an Italian restaurant. It was something that he had researched, and one of his bosses recommended it to him. And so, yeah.
It's so nice when they like do research about the restaurants and like, actually, it's like, again, the thought, right? Of like actually, planning it out and making the reservation and thinking about what you might like. Yeah. And like I said in the last episode, like, gifts aren't really a big thing. So for us, it's really just about the date night. And yeah, for us, it's going out for dinner. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess like for my husband and I, it's like somehow it's kind of become more like he makes the decisions. So like he'll kind of do the research and like surprise me on the day of. But it's always been like good choices. He probably usually asks you for recommendations. Yeah. Last year, so I love his steaks. Like, he makes really, really good steaks. He does. I will confirm that. Yeah. He does make a really good steak. So I always tell him, like, you make the best steaks. But he's always, like, he's really hard on himself because, like, he knows that I like my steaks more rare. And, like, usually it's just, you know, a little bit too well done for me. Mm-hmm. It's like always seasoned perfectly or whatever like that, but like he's kind of gotten like more cooked than rare. Mm-hmm. So he was like, okay, for Valentine's Day, I bought a meat thermometer where I'm going to get it perfect this time. I'm going to buy like a really good cut of steak. And like he had just bought me my like DSLR camera for Christmas that year. So he was like, okay, and I'm going to put on like a chef's costume and like you can take pictures of me. And I was like, yay, great, fun.
That's so cute.
Yeah. So he had like a whole date night planned at home. And he was making the steak and he was so excited about it. He was like, take pictures of the steak. Take pictures of me like seasoning this steak. And I was like, okay.
He was so proud.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, it's going to take like an hour from here. But like, you know, we'll just start drinking some wine, like hang out. I'm like, okay, fine. Like we're on the couch. We're like talking and he goes to check on the steak. And he's like, oh man, it's like, it's not coming up to temperature at all. Cause like he's going through like the oven method where like you put it in the oven and he's like, oh, it hasn't warmed at all. He's like, okay, whatever. I'll put it in for like another 20 minutes and see what happens. So he like goes back in 20 minutes. He's like, it's really not giving any, like it's not warm at all. It's like cold. Like, this is really weird. It should be done by now. So he puts it in for another 20 minutes and he's like, okay, like, you know, at this point, like, we might as well start the movie. So we start watching the movie and like we watch 20 minutes in. He checks on the steak at all. He's like, still not ready. And then he looks at the thermometer. He's like, oh crap. It's on Celsius instead of Fahrenheit. Oh, so it's overcooked.
Oh no, poor guy.
I know. So pretty much now we have a well done steak.
It's like beef jerky.
And like he was just so upset with himself because he was like, I'm gonna make the perfect steak today.
Oh no.
So that was our Valentine's Day, eating a well done steak and watching what turned out to be a really sad movie.
Yeah. So would you say that that's like your most memorable Valentine's Day to date, or?
I don't know. Maybe. That one has a really good story, but I also really like my balloon story.
Yeah, the balloon one was really cute.
And then also, like I mentioned in the gift guide, when we were doing long distance,
and the heart-shaped pizza.
When he he got a heart-shaped pizza delivered to me from when he was living in the UK.
Yeah.
So he had like flowers and the pizza delivered, and then we like Skyped the rest of the night, and
that's so nice.
Yeah, he
long distance date.
Yeah, it was a very like classic long D situation.
I would say that my most memorable Valentine's Day has nothing to do with love. It has everything to do with throwing a house party and watching the All-Star game.
Love it.
Yeah, so I remember, this is grade 9, okay? And my parents were in Hong Kong that year for some reason, and I had the house all to myself. It was awesome.
Wow.
So, and it's grade 9, so like no one was really in a relationship, and like it's grade 9. Everyone was really innocent, and everyone just wanted to hang out. So I actually invited people over, like all my friends that I made like in my new year of high school, and all invited them to my house to watch the NBA All-Star game, and it turned out to be so fun. Everyone came, we had the game on, and I felt like such an adult that weekend because no one was home and I was like the host.
Yeah.
And so I actually went to, it was Sobeys at the time at Baroque, and I bought like frozen pizza. I bought like 5 of them, like, okay, this is gonna feed everyone. Like totally not the right portion because there was like 20 people at my house.
Yeah.
And I bought like 5 Delicios, and I don't know, like, this was how dumb I was. I put the frozen pizza, like the entire box.
Oh my god.
Into the oven.
Oh my god.
And good thing someone caught me.
Yeah.
They're like, whoa, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm making this frozen pizza. It says that you just put it in.
Oh my god.
And literally, the instruction said to put.
I'm actually covering my eyes right now.
No, but the instruction, if you read the instruction, it says like to put this in the oven. And like 350, degrees Celsius or whatever.
Fahrenheit.
And 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And you wait like 10 to 15 minutes and you can broil it if you want. So I was like, okay, it's like 350. It's great. Like, I'm going to put it in. And then someone's like, no! I can see, like, someone from the living room, like, screaming into my kitchen, saying, no, what are you doing? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, this is great. Like, I'm making you guys pizza. And they're like, that's a cardboard box you're putting in. I was like, oh, like, you have to open it. And then it was, good thing someone caught me.
Oh, my goodness.
But to this day, anyone who's been at that party or like anyone like high school reunions or anything like that, that is the story that they bring up.
Oh, no. It just follows you?
Yeah.
The girl that put a...
Yeah. But that, to me, is the most memorable Valentine's Day. It had nothing to do with anything like cheesy or anything like that. It was good old kind of like fun with friends, house party. Like, I don't even think that we were drinking.
Yeah.
Like, we might have had like one Coors Light. It wasn't even that kind of party, but it was just so fun, and everyone had a good time. And yeah, grade 9 All-Star Weekend was my favorite Valentine's Day.
And I do love that All-Star Weekend is always on Valentine's Day weekend.
Yeah, such a great default.
Yeah, like
right?
if you don't have anything to do, watch the All-Stars game.
Yeah.
Which is like I remember kind of when I was in high school, like my brother would do an All-Stars weekend with all of his boys like every year, and it was, I mean, great for a single girl to be like, okay, like I have nothing to do, so my older brother is bringing like his 20 guy friends over.
You're like, yay! Not a bad way.
I'm gonna join you. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah. I was like, okay, so never really like felt lonely.
Yeah,
like,
that's the best way.
Yeah, and they're also sweet, right? Like they all treat me like a little sister too, so they're like taking care of me and stuff, and I'm like, yes, this is really great fun. Valentine's Day.
They probably pay for all the food, all the drinks.
Yeah,
that's great. I want to be invited to that.
I know. I'm like, I haven't been invited in a while.
It's because you're married.
I know. I don't
He
know.
like probably expects that you have plans.
Yeah.
But you're like, but I'm still down.
Yeah. Actually, my husband is probably down. We could probably,
exactly.
He could probably go.
Yeah.
And just be like, okay, peace.
Yeah. It's all, yeah. I think that it's just a really like a good default, but it's also, even for people who are like just starting to date, if you don't want it to be too serious, I think also that's a great plan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And even if you don't like really watch basketball, you can make it kind of like a fun thing.
Drinking game.
Yeah. Drinking game, like gambling game. Like, I don't know.
Everything for you is gambling, Joe. I've noticed a pattern.
This year. Big on the gambling this year. Like NBA bingo or something. I don't know. But yeah, like I guess Valentine's Day is always hard, like as you said, for like when you're single or whatever. Mm-hmm. And there's obviously NBA has like given a great option. But I honestly feel like if you're single and like NBA is not your thing, go out and find your friends and like make it a day. Yeah. So I was watching Parks and Rec. And one of the main characters, like, do you watch it? Mm-mm. Okay, so, like, the main character, Leslie Knope, creates this thing called Valentine's Day, which is February 13th, where she brings all her girlfriends together, and they go eat waffles. Oh. And, like, she just tells them how much she loves them. And, like, I think that kind of started this new trend of, like, spending it with your girlfriends and, like, making that about those kind of relationships, or making it like all kinds of relationships. So I think that like it's such a great idea.
I love it. I'm always down for waffles.
Yeah. I don't love waffles.
I do like waffles. But even if it doesn't even like it could be friends. It could be Valentine's Day with your parents, your siblings,
just anybody that you love. Yeah. Like make it like a holiday of love in general.
Yeah, I agree.
So I guess no matter how you guys choose to spend it, I hope
you just have a good time.
Yeah, like go out, spend it with somebody that you love.
Or stay in and watch the NBA All-Star game like we will.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Let's Talk Basic podcast. For more exclusive content, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Let's Talk Basic.